Well, right, because you go to trial and you get given 88 years.
Well, really 96, but like a month or two later, they realized that some of the counts were repetitive and they just took off some and it ended up at 88.
Right, you're 27 at the time, so you're basically, given a life sentence.
Yeah.
And then for the New York case, you get 26 more years, so you get 113 years total.
In total, yeah. Yeah. And both sentences to run consecutively, meaning serve your 88 years. When you finish serving your 88, you go to New York, and now you commence a fresh 26.
I mean, at the time, you're what, 27, 28 years old?
Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark, yeah.
You're not even 30.
Yeah.
So you're being told, that's it. You're never getting out. You're not getting bond. You're going to die in this jail cell.
Correct.
How did that feel?
So I was somewhat numb. And of course, it was uncertainty, anxiety. But what I did is I transformed those feelings into this, I'm not laying down. I refused to give in to the notion that that was it for me. At that point, I didn't really look at the damage that I caused because I was still kind of selfish and immature. So I was really more so focused on, I'm getting out. So, but before that, I met somebody that I believe that was on your podcast, Frank Matthews from DC. I think you interviewed him. And he is, because he's still alive. He he got like 3 life sentences overturned on 3 different occasions. And prior to me losing trial in DC, he told me one day, because everybody used to look up to him. And he said, you want to know the truth about your case, bro? I said, yeah. So I came back to his cell and we sat down and he spoke. He said, look, you're going to lose. You can't beat the media. I don't care who your lawyer is. You're going to lose. I know you don't want to hear this. But if you go to the federal system and all you do is smoke weed and play ball and exercise, you're going to die in a federal penitentiary. He said, but if you go and you apply yourself, especially in a case that has murder, there's always a loophole. You got a good probability because they want you so bad, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to break rules. They're going to break laws. And I never forgot that. He became like a role model for me when it came to not giving up, when it came to applying yourself to try to get yourself out of prison.
Well, while you're going through the whole situation before trial, were you offered to cooperate? Because I've interviewed, people like Sammy the Bull, who killed 19 people, cooperated, did some time served, took the stand against everyone, and then went on to live his life.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned to you earlier. When I got extradited from Philadelphia, this was the only time that they offered me any type of cooperation type deal. When I got extradited from Philadelphia to DC for the very first time, they took me to the DEA building in downtown DC. I walked in there, everybody got up and clapped and all this ceremonial stuff when I walked in. Long story short, some big boys came to see me, suit and ties, and they said, look, we have a signed document from the Attorney General, at the time was Janet Reno. They said, we have a signed document from Janet Reno allowing us to place you in a witness protection program if you give us 3 things. 1, give us 3 major players on the East Coast. We don't care where they're from. 2, help us solve some of these unsolved murders within your crew. And 3, talk to us about different routes of how cocaine come from Panama to the US. So I said, is that camera on over there? They said, yes. I said, well, y'all wasting your time because I don't want to talk. I need you to tell me at this point what am I being charged with. And I need my phone call with my lawyer. So they was like, look, this is the only opportunity you're going to have to talk with us without a lawyer. So you save yourself now. Listen, they said, we don't care about those bodies. We don't care about all the other shit. We have the power to relocate you They started naming my children's mother, my dog, my sons. We have the power to relocate all you guys somewhere. And matter of fact, you're not even from here, so it's easier with you. I said, once again, you finished? He said, yeah. I said, where am I going now? He says, well, you want to go through the process. He told me what I was going to be charged with. I said, let's go, man. Let's do it.